This project is spearheaded by the Lagos State Ministry of Youth and Social Development in partnership with GFA Technologies and WMA Bank. It seeks to bridge the digital divide and equip our youth with the essential skills to thrive in today's tech-driven economy. Joining us now are two distinguished guests, the co-founder of GFA Technologies, Emmanuel Tunji-Oke, and a Director, Youth Development, Ministry of Youth and Social Development, Saka Abdul Latif. You're both welcome. I told you off camera that you're my father's namesake and you're going to give me Oworuko. You're both welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, off camera, I was asking that there are so many initiatives by the state government, you know, for the youth, for the youth, for the youth. What about those in the informal sector that have started their business, you know, way beyond now, like adults, like me, like her?
Okay, thank you for that question. So first of all, let me just say that I think this administration in Lagos State is unlike any other. What you are talking about is that understanding and insight, right, that SMEs and certain types of groups or people outside of what we call youths
Youth, yes.
are the fulcrum of Lagos State. Essentially, for Lagos State to grow or to continue to grow, SMEs have to grow. And that is why under the Ministry of Youth and Social Development, they realized that providing that model to support entrepreneurs, SMEs, and yes, youths is very critical for the growth of Lagos State. So the first question was, what can we do? And then, based on what you said, that there have been all sorts of initiatives in the past. What can the ministry do differently? And that's how they got talking to us, GFA Technologies, to roll this project out that really creates a model for SMEs. And when we say SMEs, even one-man businesses, even people that have some kind of part-time trade or means of generating income, right? Okay. How can they support them? And when we say support, it's full scope from start to finish. And that's why this initiative was rolled out.
So, Abdul Latif, now, sorry, Joy, can you tell us about the Lagos State Upskill program and what prompted the need for this initiative?
Thank you so much for that question. The ministry realized that the sector, there's a gap in this sector, and this gap has to be filled. How do I mean? We have so many businesses out there that need support. And there's need.
Is this financial or
support in different way? Okay. It could be finance, it could be technical support, okay, like we are getting from GFA. And we have other support whereby individuals that are already in business are called upon to showcase what they're doing and how they can upscale this business. It is he or she that wear a shoe that will know where it pitches. So when we call them together, we find out what are the gaps to be filled. Is it financial? Is it technical? Okay. Then we bring our partners to study this and find a way of intervention, intervening into these issues. And that is where GFA and other organizations come in to support us, to see that these individuals are taken from where they are to where they are supposed to be.
In your interface with the participants, what are some of the major barriers that you have seen, and what are those things that this initiative tends to address?
Okay, let me give you a practical example. So I exercise, right, I jog. And a couple of weeks ago, I was out doing that, and a gentleman stopped me on the side of the road, and he handed me a flyer. He said he's a barber. I said, okay, it's okay. Where's your shop? So he pointed in the direction close by. So I asked him, presently, how does he get new customers? Meaning, how does he grow his business? And he said, okay, through flyers or through referrals from his customers. So if you look at it that way, to an extent, there's a limit to how far that business can grow. So all of a sudden, if we, through the ministry, provide an upskilling program, some people like to call it training, but it's actually much more than that, as the director mentioned. If we can actually digitally transform this gentleman, and nothing too technical in terms of technology, but provide all the tools, the training, right, for him to be able to grow his business, then it's a transformation. For instance, if we train him on how to keep his financial records, how to address customers, how to use digital marketing to find customers online, even a bit of cybersecurity to protect himself when he's online, that would actually go a very long way. One of the courses that we have involves what we call soft skills. Again, just that soft touch. A couple of weeks ago, it was a Friday specifically, the best customer service I got was from a petrol attendant and security guard at a very large shopping mall. So I want to believe that they had gone through some kind of formal training through the organizations. Right? And I was very impressed. So why can't this barber have that kind of finesse or professionalism? And professionalism is not just in what he says or how he behaves or how he treats customers. We're also saying that at the end of this program, for everybody that participates in it, right, they're going to get a free website. So all of a sudden, instead of sharing flyers on the road or depending on referrals, he now has a website. He was completely offline. Now he's offline and he's gotten it for free. So all of a sudden, I want to have a haircut. I'm only free Sundays at 2 p.m. I don't like going to the barber's shop to go and queue.
To wait.
I can get on his website, right? Or I can do a search, okay? I can actually schedule that I want to get a haircut. I get there at a particular time, boom, it's done. When we did our analysis, right, based on what we have rolled out for this kind of SMEs, specifically for barbers, let me stick to that. We realized that we can actually help to grow their businesses anything from 200 to 300%.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned the barber. What other sectors are we looking at here? Catering, hairdressing, what other sectors are we looking at here?
Okay, so initially we have defined this or structured this under 7 broad segments: professional services, event planning, creatives, a bit of technology, trade services, and personal care. Now, under each of these segments, we also have further 20, making it 140, right? So I've been talking about barbers, but we have hairdressers, we have photographers, we have graphic designers, we have people who, real estate agents, right? Those who do printing, right? Even your plumbers, even your artisans. We're saying that for all these individuals, right, if they have a presence online and then they have been trained in certain elements of business, it's going to make them much better. All of a sudden, I have a website, I go to my church, I do plumbing. I can show people, oh, okay, that's interesting. They can see the work I have done. They can see the testimonies from customers that I've attended to. Right? And all of a sudden, these people have been enhanced in terms of their presence online. So it's, you know that digital transformation is a word, is a phrase that is bandied around a lot, but really, the ministry they had that insight to realize that this is something that we could roll out at scale. Right? And that's why they partnered with GFA Technologies and WMA Bank.
Okay, I wanted to talk about the application process. How do you select the participants? Is it free? Are there criteria that must be met? What are those things?
Free, 100%. We have a process. Initially, we have a link through the partner. And just 2 weeks ago, if I'm right, another dimension was taken, whereby we need to go down to the grassroots for information purposes. Information is very important and very key. So our partner have to go down to the grassroots to announce, especially through the union. You know, all these artisans and what have you, they have their union.
Unions, yeah.
So informing the union to cascade this information down to their members. And before you know it, the members were interested. Instead of going online registration, this time around, there's physical registration. So some of them were brought to Alausa, the secretariat, for a day training, and also make them ambassador, whereby they go back to their community to inform others about the same program.
Okay.
100% free.
So how has been the feedback? Have they been acceptive or receptive to this?
Importantly, there's the training is welcome because testimony from the participant shows that information is very key. Very key. They are not aware. And some of them have even told us that at being they know the importance of this, they will have informed their partners. And let me mention, you see, before now, some of them, they don't believe that government can do such. They believe government makes selection on who know who.
Yeah, that was why I asked, what's the selection process?
Until they came and see what we do, they now believe and promise us that they are going to cascade the information down. And they did, because the response we are getting now is very, very impressive.
Okay, I'm looking at one challenge, you know, and that is, you know, the tool, owning of a smartphone in all of this. Is there a special training you're also going to give to those who do not or who do not know how to operate it? A smartphone, or will smartphones also be given to the participants?
Okay, so let's go back to when we started this conversation, what you said about it's being all-inclusive.
Okay.
So for the ministry, right, that realization that certain types of people might be left out of the group is also a consideration. Right? Also, the ministry did not want to get involved in a project that would fail or that would just be an initiative and won't go anywhere. And that was why the agreement was that, okay, we will do this in phases. Phases achieve certain levels of success, right? And then, as the director mentioned, the information and the success would actually cascade to other people. Okay. So initially, we're saying, okay, we're going to do this in phases. It will be with online, right, through smartphones. But further down the line, into the ministry, there will be some elements of where people can actually come and take these courses.
Okay.
Right, at actual centers. We don't want a situation now where people are very busy, right? And that's why we have this model. People are very busy, and then we're saying, okay, you have to come for your learning at a particular time, at a particular place. That might disrupt things. We're saying, okay, the element of convenience is actually there. And then, because we're going to taking this to anywhere between 500,000 and 1 million people, we're saying that by that time, that we'll have the model to have been adopted so that people who do not have access to this kind of tools will be able to participate as well.
Okay. Abdul Latif, I want to talk about your other partner. Am I allowed to mention the name of the bank?
Of course, we have already.
My Oga has said I cannot. He's right, he's over there. So what was the consideration, you know, in choosing that bank in particular?
WMA Bank.
Ah, okay.
Well, our partner.
And what is their role in this partnership?
I think GFA can talk better on that.
Okay. So they wear multiple hats. So first of all, they're actually supporting in terms of the training, right? That's the first thing. And secondly, they have a group that is focused on SMEs and entrepreneurs. Right. So we're saying to people, right, who are participating in the program, right, you say that you don't have support from the government. You say that you don't have support from, in terms of financials and all that. Now we're telling them that if you come into the program, utilize the tools, right, you're already building a track record that you can run a structured business And in reality, whether it's your friends and families, whether it's a bank, people are going to find it difficult to support a business when there is no track record of discipline. There are no records, right? And that is where WMA Bank, as the directors that you mentioned, becomes very, very interesting because they are involved in the program, right? They know how to finance and support SMEs. They have all sorts of other, beyond even this program, all sorts of ways in which they're going to support entrepreneurs and SMEs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, is there a way that you'll be able to track, for those who will go through the upskilling, is there a way that you'll be able to track their progress to ensure that this objective is not in futility?
Yes, and that's one of the merits of, going back to her question, that's one of the merits of why we're adopting the online model, right? Because then we can track, they can track their progress. All the partners who are involved, ministry as well, who are involved in the program can also track their progress, right? And the evidence will all be there. Because again, we don't want a situation where people come in to the program and don't get what they want. What the ministry has done in partnership with GFA and the bank is that the model is all inclusive, and for the SMEs and the entrepreneurs, all they need to do is to participate, use the tools, and continue to do what they have been doing, which is to work hard. And that hard work, the ministry has dedicated itself to make sure that it becomes more productive, it generates more money for their pockets, take care of their families.
So they have access to follow-up or mentorship after the training?
Yes, because
let me add to this. You see, you have that experience of training, after training, dumping, not following.
Exactly.
So we don't know what they do. But this time around, we have what is called data bank of all the participants. In the data bank, the nature of training, their contact, both telephone and home address. And we have a unit called R&D. So after the training, we give them some months, like let's say 3 months, then the R&D take off to monitor and see what the progress these people are doing and give us feedback. If they need another intervention in our coming, so that the purpose of this training will be achieved.
Okay, we've had the opportunity to speak with other organizations that have, organized trainings, which we talked about off camera. Why is this training in particular, why is it unique? What is special about it? Knowing that Lagos State government has been involved in many others.
Thank you so much. Knowing very well that the world itself is not static, but dynamic in nature. With the team plus agenda of Mr. Governor, the social inclusion that says nobody should be left out is very key to us. It's a challenge to the ministry. And if we want to achieve this, we must look for a way to intervene. First of all, we find out that we have a lot of people outside there trained, they don't know what next to do. So there's need for the ministry to come in, especially the youth. You find out that immediately after secondary school, some youths don't know what to do after jam and what have you. They are unable to be jammed by jam.
Has jammed them.
So instead of them remaining, becoming nuisance, and mind you, remember the eating now in the country, that the issue of substance abuse. So to take them off this, we need to engage them positively. And how do we do that? By calling them to know their needs. Some of them are already trained. They don't know what to do next. So there's need for us to upscale this training, pulling them from where they are now to where they are supposed to be. So it's very important.
Emmanuel, the creative industry is another industry that you have a lot of young people getting involved in. So how is LAGOP also supporting young entrepreneurs in that industry?
Okay, so like I mentioned, under the creative segment, let's call it, we have about 20 different further sub-segments, right? And a lot of them are entrepreneurial, right? But they don't know how to do business.
I will hold your thoughts there.
Yeah.
They don't know how to do
I
business.
have that first-hand experience with my daughter. During COVID, she started a business. She was 13 then, and she, because everybody was at home at that time, she had customers. And after COVID, after the lockdown and everything, the customers, dwindled. So each time she wants to get customers, she'll send it to me, "Mommy, please let me get customers. Put it on your status. Maybe they'll see this and all that." But it wasn't sustainable. So, and I know that your organization, always makes sure that these businesses, you match them up with investors, right?
Well, that is another element of the model, right?
Okay.
But that's more for like technology startups, right?
Okay.
Again, I think that's where the role that the bank actually plays.
Okay.
For the permanent secretary and the honorable commissioner at the ministry, they wanted a situation where this was not a training, as you mentioned, right?
Okay.
And going back to your child, they wanted that sustainability. And that is where this particular model is very, very unique, because it's not a train, dump, done that with, no. We want it to be sustainable, right? The ministry wants it to be sustainable, because in reality, when you look at Nigeria or Lagos as a whole, right, where is our strengths, right? If we say, okay, it's natural resources, it's infrastructure, and then there's people, what do we have as a strength? It's our people. Right, especially the youths, the people who are already willing to work hard. I mean, she's already gotten her hands dirty, as they say. So where would she be in 5-10 years if she continues in that regard? And the ministry realized that, okay, if they're able to support someone like her in whatever she's doing, in something that is creative, whether it's drawing, whether it's videography, whether it's photography, design, anything, right? That sector of the economy is booming. We know it's booming, but there's still a lot of headroom that can be achieved, right? So it's once again, it's this ecosystem that's been put together through the director's ministry that is just bringing everything in one place and providing that end-to-end support for creatives, just like
So this Upskill program, is this the first of its kind? Are we going to continue? Is there going to be continuity? So how is the ministry going to sustain? Because he said that the ministry will ensure that it is sustainable. So what measures are in place to ensure sustainability of this particular initiative?
Well, let me start by saying LAGOP is coming for the first time, but we have other partners that are doing other things
I like LAGOP.
in the ministry.
I don't want it to end with one.
So I don't believe it's going to be a one-off thing. It's going to be a continuous something.
Okay.
But this is the first phase of it. So our more reason to sustain it is what we are doing now. Like I said earlier, we have a database. So success story will now
Feedback.
success story will now, from feedback, will now show us what to do next.
Okay.
But you see, we have co-ops. Out of 10, we are just in the second one. So we still have about 8 more to go. Before the 10th one, I believe we'll be able to know how the shortcomings, the gaps, so that we'll be able to fill, so that at the end of the day, they will come back.
Okay, Emmanuel, I'd like you to highlight, some of these tech skills that the youth will be learning.
So
during this training.
it's not. Let's not scare people. It's not.
Tech.
It's not technology.
Okay.
Like the director said earlier, it's more of technical skills,
Okay.
right? So we have soft skills, Soft skills can talk about some of the customer management, for instance. We have, they have to get customers. So digital marketing, email marketing, how to attract, how to win customers over, right? We also have financial planning and financial record keeping. This is also very, very, very key, right? Because so that it makes them more organized, right? And then we have other courses that have to do with just the element or the elementary part of understanding digitization.
Digitization?
Yes, so that it's not too scary. And digitization sounds like a big word, but just like the director said, when we engaged at the local government grassroots level, we asked everybody there, do you have NIN? Did you register NIN? The answer was yes. Do you do banking? Yes. You have cards. You do online banking? Yes. So to us, that's digitization, because the upskilling program and everything afterwards is almost equivalent in terms of, if we want to use the word complexity, to what these people have already done. I think we underestimate our entrepreneurs and SMEs in terms of what they can do, what they're already doing, right? And that's why the ministry had that foresight to understand that, okay, this is already in play, but it's not impacting their business. What kind of program can be put in place that can align with what they're already doing and what they already know, so that it won't scare them? That's what.
All right, let's look at the economic impact this initiative will have on the growth here in Lagos, and then what are the outcomes that you expect to see?
Thank you so much for that. Like I said earlier, before now, we used to train. We don't follow up. And the trained people go back to the street at the end of the day. This time around, it's going to be different. We're not only looking at what the training or what the intervention will bring to you, but also the economic impact on the state is very essential. You see, you are not going to be only useful to yourself. To your community is also important than the government. So more reason, like you rightly said, more reason the financial aspect is crucial. They are training you on financial intelligence, how to keep records of your daily financial issues. You see, where you go to this Yalata and what have you, not that they are not doing very well, but how do they keep their financial records? Before you know it, they don't know the difference between capital
And their profit.
and profit.
They don't spend everything.
They spend everything. But this time around, it also happened to the elite.
It happened to my daughter.
It happened to elite. They don't know which one is capital. Before you know it, they spend everything. They come back to
square one.
Square
They
one.
me to put some
So-
money back. I said, hello.
That is one of the importance of this intervention. So for the participant to know what is what, so that at the end of the day, they will be smiling
A success story.
to the bank. At the same time, they'll be happy.
When I was going through your write-up, Emmanuel, one of the benefits of the LAGOP initiative is community building features and real-time chat functionality that allows you to engage with customers and grow your business online. I'd like you to emphasize on this.
Okay. Now, the director was talking about, mentioned something about record keeping, right? Let me go back to my own encounter. I think it was a week ago, right? We had this social function and went to go and sew Ashwebi. Right? Tilo is very, very skilled, very good at what he does. But he wrote down the booking and the order and the measurement and everything on a piece of paper or someone. And I looked at him and said, okay.
And that's what they all still do.
And then we agreed on a day for me to come back, right? And I come and he said, because it was the second time I was saying, are you Mr. Emmanuel? You're not Mr. Saka.
They mix up.
No be next week you say you can come. So he has mixed up two members of his community. Because he's doing things He's doing things manually. Right. So we're saying for these people, if we make them just a bit more organized,
That's the word.
what impact
Yeah.
the director said would that have? 10,000, 20,000, it can go a very, very long way. So those kind of tools are what we're trying to put in the hands of our business people, because again, the state depends on them really. If you look at the way Nigeria and Africa is structured, when we look at GDP, they are the major contributors. So it's not a nice to have this skilling program. The ministry realized that it is a necessity for Lagos State to continue to move forward.
Yes. And when is this program started?
It started already.
It started, okay.
So we have batches. We are in the second batch now.
This is the second batch?
Yes,
Okay.
and we are going to 10 batches.
Okay.
Okay, it's a long one. Thank you very
So
much.
we are looking at 1 million, right?
Shoot for the stars.
Oh, yeah.
Why not?
So don't lose hope. There's hope for you. All right.
At what point my daughter can fit in
There's hope
to
for.
the program. That's it.
All right. Thank you very much, Emmanuel Tunji Oke,
Thank you for having me.
co-founder GFA Technologies, and Saka Abdulateef, Director Youth Development, Ministry of Youth, Social Development, Lagos State, and they have spoken extensively on the Lagos State Youth Upskill program. The conversation continues after this break. Stay with us.
Let the conversation continue.